when push comes to shove, as much as I don't think yesterday was totally unfrank in terms of what happened, we are 2 wins in 16 Premier League games.
Yeah.
That is the fact. And even those 2 wins, we beat Palace, where I don't even think we deserved to win that game. And so it could have easily been 1 win in 16 games. The only 1 win we got, which we fully deserved, was the Brentford game, which we obviously played very well in. So that's 2 wins in 16 games. That's nearly half a season at this point. You know, you're creeping up in a week's time or 2 weeks' time. It's going to be 18 games, and we might not win those 2.
In our last 10 games, we've won 1 in our last 10. Right, 5 of those games have been against teams in the bottom half.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
haven't we played the bottom? Apart from Wolves, we played probably all the bottom teams.
Played West Ham, Burnley, Palace, Forest, yeah, and there's 1 more in there as well. So, I mean, the form is absolutely dire. We're showing relegation form right now. We're only 6 points above the drop after West Ham's result yesterday. Leeds are on level points with us now. Nottingham Forest, I know they lost against Leeds on the weekend, but they're creeping up as well. Not too many points behind us, and we've got hard games coming up. We've got Newcastle at home Tuesday night, which is a massive game, and then we got a bit of a break, and then we play Arsenal 2 weeks today. Fulham away after that. That's a difficult game. And then we got like a 6-pointer against Crystal Palace. And you're thinking, like, we all talked about like relegation battle over the last like couple of months, and it looked like we were in it, and then we stayed clear. We got a few points clear of West Ham. Now West Ham have won 3 of their last 4 games.
I think they've picked up more points in their last 4 than we have in the last 10 or last 16 or something.
Yeah, they have, because they've won 3.
So that's 9 points. And we've now picked up 9 points since October.
How many draws have we got?
So we've only won 2, so that's 6.
Yeah. In 16, that is.
In 16. So have we must have drawn at least 3 of them, right?
We drew Man City, we drew Burnley.
So what's our record in the last 16 games? We've since beating Everton. So 1 loss, 2 losses.
We drew against Man U.
3, 4, 5.
Yeah, we've drawn more than enough games to get more points than that. But
6, 7, so 8. So we've lost. So the last 16, we've lost 8. So we've drawn 4. Sorry, lost 2 and drawn 6.
In the last 8.
So the last 16, we've lost 8.
Yeah.
Drawn 6.
Yeah.
And won 2.
Yeah.
So that's 12 points.
Yeah.
So West Ham picked up 9 in their last 4, and we picked up 12 in our last 16. I mean, there you go.
It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing where we're at right now. 6 points above the drop. West Ham play Manchester United midweek. I would not be surprised, judging how I saw Man United play yesterday, judging how I saw them play against Fulham. I would be not surprised if West Ham can nick something from that game, even a draw or, horror, even a win. I wouldn't be surprised. So West Ham are like riding a bit of a crest of a wave at the moment. Somerville, ever since been linked to Spurs, has just been in crazy form. 4 goals in his last 4 games or maybe more. And, all fans saying Spurs are not going to go down, Spurs too good to go down. We're not on good enough form to say hand on heart and say we're definitely staying up. We are bang in the midst of a relegation battle right now, and particularly with the games that we have. You're looking at the teams around us; they have shown the ability to pick up more points in the last couple of weeks than Spurs have. They're all showing better size of form. So who's to say that Spurs are too good to be talking about in the midst of a relegation battle? We're not. We're not too good to get dragged into this.
We are dragged into it.
Yeah.
It's beyond that. We are in it. 6 points, people. That's 2 games. 6 points. I don't understand why people are looking at this like, we're still like we're probably not going to go down. Look, I understand likelihood. Even if, let's say, we lose our next 2 and West Ham win our next 2, and there's like a late run in, maybe we can pull it together late on. Maybe we can keep ourselves up in the last day. Maybe we can still save ourselves 100%. I'm not saying we're down already. For sure we're not. And I think we're not the favourites to go down or anything like that. But the 100%, we are right now in a relegation battle. There is no 2 ways about it. West Ham are on an upward trajectory. They're winning games. Leeds on an upward trajectory. They've only lost, 2 of the last 11 or 12 or something. They're winning games at the moment. Nottingham Forest have been there and done it. Even in their last 4 games, they've drawn 2 and won 2. So they're on. They've got some half decent form, although they lost the last game. Crystal Palace, they're in free fall 100% at the moment, but they're definitely down there. But we know if they can pull it together, they can be a good team. They've got a good manager, but 100% they're also in a relegation battle. But when you look at the teams we're competing with, we're probably in the worst form of all of them, apart from maybe Palace. So we are 100%. When it gets to 6 points, you're in the relegation battle.
We've lost to all these teams as well. And apart from Leeds, we've beaten Leeds. We've got them all to play. We've got to play every one of those teams.
Put it this way, how long ago was it where West Ham were like 7, 8, 9 points away from even Forest? It wasn't that long ago.
No.
And we were saying, they're down. I think there was one game they lost to Forest, right? And they were like that. They made the game 8 points. Now it's down to 3. Like that wasn't that long ago. So, you see it firsthand that. Let's say a team was 17th and and then another team was 18th, right? And there was a 6-point gap there. Would you say that team in 17th is in a relegation battle? Of course you would. Of course they are. The gap isn't that big. The gap is 2 games. We are in the thick of it right now, and people are saying, we just have to win 4 games and we're safe. Well, we've won 2 in the last 16, so we didn't even beat Wolves at home this season. So that's like the easiest game. That's the biggest gimme game you got. Wolves at home. They were on the biggest losing streak at the time, and we couldn't even win that game. So we literally just have to take it game by game at the moment.
We've lost to 2 teams in the relegation zone at home this season. Well, we've drawn and lost.
Yeah,
that's madness. When you're talking about where we are right now, do you have confidence that we can go to Palace? Palace come to us, but even that, are we going to beat them? Are we going to beat Wolves? We got to go to Wolves. Wolves have turned it around a little bit. Are we going to go beat them? You know what I mean? We've got every game looks daunting right now for Tottenham Hotspur. That's the issue that we're in right now. And not only that, but our players are dropping like flies.
That's the biggest issue, I think.
And it's just like when you're looking to turn this form around, and as each game increases, numerically we're getting worse and worse and worse. It's just like, how are we supposed to manage this situation? I genuinely don't think we are going to go down, but it is in a very alarming situation. The club in January didn't take this threat of relegation seriously enough when you're looking at the transfer business that we did do. The fans, I don't think for the most part of the season have been taking the threat of relegation seriously, or a large section of the fan base anyway. I've been talking about relegation for the last month. I've been worried about it for the last month, and a lot of people saying, "Oh, don't you worry, Spurs are never going to go down."
I was talking about it.
Yeah, and then I kind of switched on that, didn't I? When we got closer to it. Because when I said you were doom mongering, we widened the gap the week after that to 9 points. And then I asked you, do you still think we're going to go down? And then you agreed with me. And then a week later, we're back down to 6 points. So I did feel like you were doom mongering at that point in time. But then I think it was proven that, we stayed clear of it, and nobody thought, we were going to be in a relegation battle. We thought we'd pick up points. But then since then, our form has been absolutely horrific. So we've forced ourselves back into this kind of relegation scrap that we see that we're in today. So I don't know where these points are coming from. I really don't.
You've just got to take it game by game at this point and try and just keep our head above the drop zone. That's pretty much the only way, because I think when people start looking at it like they are now, like, we've got this team and that team, and maybe we can pick up points there, maybe pick up points there. Look at West Ham, they've got these hard runs, these hard games, maybe they won't pick up the points. I think West Ham are probably going to pick up some expected wins here, because I think when you saw them against Chelsea go 2-0 up, that showed to me, even though they didn't hold out and win in the end, that showed to me that is a team with confidence at the moment. They've found a formula that maybe is working a bit for them, and they can surprise a few people. And even the fact they went 2-0 up in that game surprised me. And I think that shows maybe they'll pick up some surprise results, because at the end of the day, they are a big team. They are a team that's been Premier League regulars. They know how to get points as a club. They've been there and done that. And I guess you could say the same for us, but I'm talking about just West Ham for a second. They've been in kind of not this position per se, but they've been in positions where they needed to pick up points before, and
the
they can
reality
pull out
is
results.
Nuno has turned it around.
Yeah, and
that's
he
the
has.
thing. Nuno has turned it around. They're actually performing well. They're actually scoring goals. They're creating chances.
And then, like I was saying as well, unlike the last season, they're not going to go down without a fight. You think West Ham are just going to go down with a whimper? I understand they've been failing for whatever reason within their club. They're still a big club with obviously they didn't expect to be in a relegation battle this season, but they've got some very good players there. So they're not just going to go quietly into the night, into the championship. They're going to give it their best shot. They're going to probably go on a bit of a run between now and the end of the season. I'm not saying winning every game, but they're going to probably pick up some surprise results. How many times do you see it when a team is down the bottom, and when they're in the shit in the relegation battle, they pull out some sort of surprise results? That's why a lot of people say near the end of the season, when you're playing a team in 18th or whatever, that's not a team you want to be facing near the end of the season.
And also, you know, the majority of teams are going to have nothing to play for at that stage of the season. So West Ham can definitely pull up some surprise results. They got Manchester United next, and then they play Bournemouth at home. I would not be surprised if they pick up 4 points over those 2 games.
And they are winning games at the moment. So, the thing is, everyone's winning games around us, apart from us and Palace at the moment. We're not winning any games, but everyone else seems to be winning games fairly regularly. You know, within. They don't go more than 4 or 5 games without winning. So we've got 2 wins in 16. We are absolutely in the shit at the moment.
We could be below Palace by the end of today.
Absolutely, they get a point and we're below them. So even though they haven't been winning, they could still be above us. Even though they haven't won in 12 or 13 games, they'll be above us with the draw. So we are in massive trouble right now. This is a bona fide relegation battle. This is not a maybe we're in it. This isn't a but we're still 15th. We're probably fine. This is, you are 6 points off the relegation zone, and you've won 2 games in the last 16, and you're dropping faster than a skydiver.
Let's look at this, because you want to look at the next fixtures from all the clubs that we're in it with. Spurs, Newcastle at home, Arsenal at home, Fulham away, Palace away, and Liverpool away. So 3 away games there, and 3 difficult ones as well. I know Palace.
We're better away from home.
Look, Newcastle at home, I think maybe we'll get a point. Newcastle, obviously.
No Doggy, no Romero.
It's true.
It's not good. Nothing.
It's most likely a loss. It's most likely a loss, but Newcastle are also playing poorly right now.
Yeah, but at least they can have a full team. Or I don't know. Do they have injuries at the moment?
Gordon will be out, and
as long as they've got a midfield.
Yeah, look, Bruno Guimaraes is back.
At the moment, I make them favourites.
Yeah, they are favourites. 100% they're favourites. Arsenal at home, they're favourites. Fulham away, they're favourites. Liverpool away, they're favourites. Palace away is the only one where you look at that and being like, is it not Palace at home?
Yeah, it's Palace at home.
Yeah, so it's Palace at home. It says here away.
But that's just all set up for Johnson to score a winner, isn't it?
That's exactly what I said yesterday. But out of those fixtures, you would say Palace is the only game that we're favourite for. Mm-hmm. You're looking at Palace's games. They've got Burnley. So they got Brighton today away. They got Burnley and Wolves at home the next 2 games after that. Burnley and Wolves at home. Then they got Man United away, then us, and then Leeds at home. So in their next 6, they play Leeds, Wolves, and Burnley all at home. Yeah? Leeds, they've got difficult fixtures. They go Chelsea away, Villa away, Man City at home, Sunderland at home, and Palace away. You know, I can see them picking up at least a win and a draw maybe in that run. But Leeds, they've shown the ability to give anyone a match on their day. Nottingham Forest, they play Wolves at home next, Liverpool at home, Brighton away, Man City away, and Fulham at home. They can easily pick up points against Wolves at home and Fulham at home, and potentially even Brighton away. And West Ham, Man United at home, Bournemouth at home, Liverpool away, Fulham away, and Man City at home. They've got difficult fixtures, but I can see them picking up points in their next 2 games. So out of everyone, I've got least confidence. I think Spurs might actually pick up the least amount of points over the next 5 games out of everyone. Even though some other teams do have difficult fixtures as well.
Yeah, because we're in the absolute shit with the injuries. And that's also a massive issue at the moment, with injuries and suspensions. So we're not only are we in bad form, but we're also tired, probably mentally tired as well, with everything that's going on. We're also not a club that's used to being in this kind of position, whereas maybe some of those other clubs are. So all of that rolled into one massive pile of shit. We are in the shit at the moment, and there's no point looking at games and stuff from our point of view, because we're not winning any games at the moment right now. So in terms of, maybe we can get a point here and there, we can't really predict that right now because we are so unstable as a team. There are no games that are guaranteed wins. We just had a couple of games where you thought one of them, surely we're going to win. West Ham at home, Burnley away. Right, when you look at the fixture list, you look at that and thinking, we'll surely pick up points there. We didn't. We picked up 1 point. We didn't win either of those games. And then we draw with Man City, and so we pick up a point there. So it's so hard to predict in this Premier League. But right now, it's all about just taking it game by game, because we are the form we're on is absolutely atrocious. And as you say, the injury crisis seems to be worsening, not getting better. We're not getting those players back before more players are getting injured, and that's been a major issue. What's our team going to look like in 2 weeks? Let alone on Tuesday, like. Are we going to have more players injured come that game? And then what we're going to be playing? Right now, we only have like 12 or 13 fit players. It's a crazy situation that we've got ourselves in with the injury crisis. And I obviously have a bit of sympathy with Frank with that. But at the end of the day, it's it's we have to deal with it.
We are a Van de Ven injury away from utter implosion in that back line over the next 4 games. If Van de Ven goes down with a hamstring next game, what the hell do we do for the 3 games after that with Romero out as well? Seriously, what do we do if Van de Ven goes down with a hamstring?
We're done.
We've kept him fit all season. You know what I mean? Beifeld is he? We've got 1 fit fullback in the team right now. I know Spence should be back next game, but I mean we've heard it all before with these kind of players saying, they're touch and go, and we don't see them for ages. So I mean. We are at literal dire straits, and I don't know what has become of our football club, man. We're talking about relegation battles, and we're not even talking about jokingly. We're talking about it like dead serious. Relegation battle, Tottenham Hotspur, where 5 years ago we were in the Champions League final. Last year, only very last year, we won the Europa League. You know what I mean? And we're talking about relegation battle.
If you put it this way, if our club wasn't called Tottenham and it was called Brentford, would you say Brentford win a relegation battle right now? Of course they would be. It's only because we're called Tottenham, we're supposed to be top 6, and we shouldn't be in this position. We got good players, theoretically. Like, people are maybe thinking, they'll be fine. They're not really in it. We are absolutely in this relegation battle. This is it. This is the relegation battle. We are right there in the thick of it. There's no 2 ways about it. I don't know how else to put it. Like, people might say this is fear-mongering. People might say you're going over the top. Look at the table. Look at the form. That tells you the story. We are absolutely in that relegation battle. Look, whether we're one of the favourites to go down right now, looking at the other teams, maybe not. Maybe we're not one of the favourites. Maybe with the odds, we're not one of the favourites. Maybe we will save ourselves. Maybe even if we do get closer to relegation battle before we get further away, there will be a moment in the season we do seem to pull away and we save ourselves. But right now, the threat of relegation is absolutely real. This is not pretend. This is not hyperbole. It's completely a realistic possibility right now.
In the last 20 games, we have picked up 19 points. This is 20 games. This is over half a season. West Ham have picked up 20. Forest have picked up 21. Leeds have picked up 22. Crystal Palace have picked up 23. There is only 2 teams on worse forms than us in the last 20 games.
And they're the 19th and 20th team.
And they're Burnley and Wolves, yes. So, I mean, that's 20 games, How much more evidence do we need to say that we're banging trouble right here?
And I see, interview with Vicario yesterday after the game. He was asked, Tottenham in a relegation battle? He goes, it depends how you see things in life. And I was like, well, what are you... I understand, look, maybe he doesn't want to say yes because that gives other connotations. Is that the club admitting that you could go down and is that an embarrassment from a PR point of view? Do they want to kind of give out this confidence like, no, we're going to be fine, like we're not even looking at relegation and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, we are absolutely in it. So it also gives off the impression when he says, he doesn't want to answer that question. It kind of gives off the impression, are they actually taking the threat of relegation seriously? Do they actually believe that we could go down, and could that put us in more trouble? Are we just going to keep... are we going into every game with this real mentality of we're fighting tooth and nail, scrapping for every single point we can, because right now we need every single point we can because we're banging trouble? Or is it a case of, look, if we lose a game, we can always save ourselves in the next game. We're still looking up. We're not looking down. We're not looking at this relegation scrap. We're not taking seriously that these teams can actually catch up with us. We're Tottenham Hotspur. We'll pick up as the points required. It ain't going to be a problem for us. We'll be fine. Like, is that the mentality at the club right now? And that's a scary thing, because we need that fight right now. We need everyone pulling together and scrapping for everything. We need to scrape wins at the moment by hook or by crook. And maybe Frank is the guy to do that, because maybe in a relegation battle you just need a manager who can scrape those wins. But he ain't been doing that so far. It's been...
I don't know how we can say Frank's the right manager for it with the form that we're on.
Because the expectations have been different. Now the expectation is just keep us up. And maybe that's gonna that kind of expectation is what he's used to.
I don't know. I'm struggling to think here. I mean, look, I don't genuinely...
We need a firefighter, do you think?
Do you genuinely think we're going to go down? Because I don't genuinely think we're going to go down. I think there will be... One of these teams will be worse than us. I'm praying. I'm just praying.
Do I think come game week 38 we're going to see 18th? No. Do I think that there might be a one game week between now and game week 38 where we're 18th in the table? That's a possibility. I don't think you can rule that out. You know what I mean? But even if it means, okay, we're 18th in that week and then we win the next week and we're back out or something, that might happen as well. But I wouldn't rule out that there will be a game where we're either 18th or maybe within 3 points of 18th, or maybe within a couple of points or something like that. Could very possibly happen.
If it gets to that stage and we do drop into 18th, like you say, does Frank get sacked at that point?
I think if there is one game week where we're in 18th, or even if we spend an hour in 18th or something like that, if he's capable of it being that bad, we might have to roll the dice and sack him and see if an interim just can get a few wins just by letting the shackles off. And maybe
but who can come in and actually do that?
I don't know, but
Big Sam.
Mate, not Big Sam, but someone who could just let the shackles off, and maybe with a few games, a bit of freedom, we get a few like easy wins, a 2-0 home win here and there, and somehow get enough wins to save ourselves. I actually don't think it's going to take a lot to save ourselves. But the problem is, even the bare minimum, I'm talking, we probably need a couple, 2 or 3 wins. We might be all right.
Yeah, I think 3 wins keeps us safe.
So that's not too much to ask in the next 13 games.
3 wins from 13 games, but I mean...
But the problem is we're 2 wins in 16.
Yeah.
So looking at where those wins are coming from right now is like, I got no idea. And I think for me, in terms of looking at it in that lens as well, is the wrong way to look at it, because if you're looking at that lens, right, all of a sudden you're like, okay, if we lose the next game, let's say against Newcastle, you're like, okay, we just need 3 wins. We'll win the next game. Just win the next game. You got to take it game by game, because if we lose the next game and West Ham win, then the gap is 3 points. That's what you got to look at. Just look at the gap, look at the teams around you, and look at where you are. Forget, we only need this amount of wins. You just got to take it game by game and look exactly what the gap is, because in 2 weeks' time, it's not that crazy to say we could be level on points with West Ham. Mm-hmm. That's not impossible. That is very real possibility that in 2 weeks' time we could be level on points with them. And at that point, are you saying we only need 3 wins? Probably not.
Thing is as well, like if we are, I'm just looking forward at the fixture. Like, if we are like down in the doldrums of like, let's say Leeds and West Ham, we're 16th, 17th and 18th, and let's say going into the last game, any 3 of us can go down, right? West Ham play Leeds last game of the season.
Wow.
So that means one of them is going to pick up points. If there's a winner in that game, one of them is going to get 3 points. So that puts you in even bigger problems, that that at least one team below you, if we are kind of in a scrap there, will pick up 3 points. That's worrying, man.
This must be... It's definitely the closest we've ever been to relegation zone right now, probably since the 90s. I'm just looking. I remember there was that one season, right? Klinsmann saved us.
98, I think it was.
It was 97, 98. I can see we actually did finish. We finished 14th, and we actually finished only 4 points above the relegation zone that season. But how close did we actually? Well, it doesn't give you the game weeks here, so I can't really see how close we actually got at some points. I know we were very really in it. Clearly, if we only finished 4 points, we were very clearly in that relegation battle. So that's probably the closest we've been in the Premier League era. 4 points.
Yeah.
We could easily beat that this season.
Yeah, could easily. I mean, last year we finished 17th. I know we weren't at close, like in terms of points. We were just lucky that the bottom 3 teams were just terrible.
I mean, if you offer me 38 points right now, I'm taking it.
Yeah, so am I. But how many points are we on now?
I think, but weren't we only 17th on the final day, or were we always 17th?
We were, I can't remember last year. It doesn't really matter, does it?
I'm just saying we finished that way, but I'm just saying, like, it wasn't like we were 17th, like, and just keeping our heads above water. I think we were like mid-table.
No, we knew we were safe for quite a while.
We knew like dropping. Because,
we knew we were safe. Last year we knew we were safe for quite a while.
From February we were safe pretty much. We won those 3 games in a row, and that was it. We were pretty much safe.
Yeah, and that's what we kind of need now. We just need to go on that run just to keep us safe. But the longer this form goes on, the more worrying it's going to get, and the closer we're going to get to 18th spot. I just cannot believe that we're sitting here in this situation, genuinely talking about the threat of relegation. Like, I thought those days of the 90s of Klinsmann coming in and saving us were long gone. Like, what has happened?
I think it's a consequence of, first of all, mismanagement of the club, but I also think the league at the moment. It used to be the case, right, where you could, let's say, your team or your club is going through the motions, and you're just like kind of going on week by week. You're directionless, and you're not a very good team. You know, a lot of things are problems. You could sort of like do that as a top 6 club, but you'd always be kind of good enough, better than the opposition to kind of just like fumble your way to like an 8th place finish or something, or like a 10th place finish, because you still got better players than other team. And even though you're kind of you're not really got a direction, you would still have good enough players, or just about a good enough team to like get a few wins here and there and keep yourself like in 10th place or whatever. But now, with every team in the Premier League is so well run, really good managers, such good recruitment as well, like such great detail-oriented strategies from the hierarchies, right? You can't get away with that anymore. You can't get away with just going through the motions. You're going to be dropping. The injury crisis as well has really hampered us. So that's obviously, other teams are playing 1 game a week, a lot fresher, with clear game plans, whereas we've got players, we're dropping players left, right and centre. Physically, we're just way off it, and we don't have our best team ever really at the moment, and we're losing more and more players each week. So every week we're coming out with probably like second 11s. A directionless club going through the motions where not everyone's playing in the same direction. There's fractions within the club, and you're facing teams who are well drilled, well coached, unbelievable recruitment. So they've got good players, even though they're not big names. They're good players, and if you're off it, even by 1% in this league, you will lose. And that's the fine margins you're dealing with. And we're losing, just like last season, we are losing those margins every single week. Every week those margins are going against us because we're not at our fittest, we're not at our best, and the hierarchy, the football strategy is all over the place, so we don't even when we are our best, we don't have the best profiles to fit each team and each position and all this kind of stuff, and there's major holes in the squad and the strategy is not there. But on top of that, it's compounded by everything else that's going on in this, within the actual playing staff right now, in terms of manager who's probably not so inspiring, and he's not like the most motivational guy. He doesn't have tactics I don't think the players really buy into or believe in, and he doesn't have a full team to play with on top of that as well. So that's leading to us being where we are right now, which is an absolute in the shit. Like, we are in massive trouble, and I think this is evidence of how strong as well just the rest of the Premier League is if you have any sort of a drop off, and how ruthless it's become. I don't think it used to be as ruthless as it is now, but now it's extremely cutthroat. You drop even by a couple of %, and if that carries on even for a couple of months, you will lose games consistently and you will drop, and that is what's happening. And that's why you're seeing teams like Arsenal and Man City, like you look at Arsenal, you're like, look at their squad, and you're thinking they don't need another defender, do they? And then they go and sign Nketiah. You're like, where's he going to play? Why are they even signing him? They've got like 10 defenders. But you know what? You can never have too many. I think that's kind of the rule at the moment. You just can never have too many players right now because of how many games you're playing, how physical and intense the Premier League is at the moment, and how tough these Premier League fixtures really are compared to the Champions League when you're doing it week in, week out. I think we're seeing that the bigger clubs now are erring on the side of let's just get more players because we just can't handle when we have any sort of a drop off. And now we haven't done that essentially, and we're in this position.
Yeah, and like that's what I said before about the club not taking this threat seriously, because if they took this threat seriously, they are playing with our future here. They are playing with our Premier League status here. By the transfer window that we had in January, only to bring in one player when there were other players available. You could have got a Ryan, you could have got an Ademola Lookman, you could have got an Oscar Bob. We just need bodies right now. That's the reality. I'm sure there were a few loan moves you could have found out there. John Duran was willing to come, go bring him in. You know, you don't need to send Moani back, but bring him in as well. You know, Moani can fill out on the wings as well, provide cover there. Duran, like there were players out there that we could have brought in. I'm not buying into the narrative that says, oh, it's a hard window to do. There's no one we could have brought in that could have made us better. That is a complete lie and a complete fallacy. They are playing with our futures in the Premier League right now, and this is the worst we've ever been under ENIC. You know, they took us over in 2001. Only a few years before that, we're in a relegation battle. Ever since 2001, we've been in an upward trajectory up until Pochettino left the club. Ever since then, it's been a slow decline until we are now. So until something massively changes, how do you expect things to get better at this football club? You know, they are incompetent the way that they run this football club. They have how can you not take the threat of relegation seriously just because of the name is Tottenham Hotspur? That is the only reason that they didn't take it seriously. Like, if they were the owners of Burnley right now, they would be taking it seriously. Mm-hmm. If they're the owners of West Ham right now, because they've been relegated a couple of times over the last 20 years, they'll take it seriously. But because they're the owners of Tottenham Hotspur, they've got this sort of like thing like, oh, Tottenham are never going to go down. Tottenham are never going to get pulled into this shit. We're Tottenham Hotspur. We won the Europa League last season. 5 years ago, we're in the Champions League final.
We heard it, didn't we? Some reports that there are relegation clauses in a lot of the players' contracts, but Spurs aren't worried about that ever happening or something like that.
And, and the reality is they shouldn't be, but we're in this situation now where we have to be.
For me, going into January, seeing what you've been seeing this season and seeing the performances and the results we've been getting, they 100% should have been taking it seriously going into January, because it was very like real possibility that the way we're going, we could be dragged into it. Now, come the start of the season, of course, you shouldn't be saying, I know we finished 17th, but even we were saying, of course, we're going to improve on that, and we're not going to be that again. We're hoping anyway, even if minor improvements, we should be back, minimum champion for Europe and all this kind of stuff. But going into January, I think we've seen enough to suggest we are in big trouble if we keep playing this way and we stuck the same. Now, they stuck with the manager, where they could have easily got rid of. There was a number of times they could have got rid of him, I think. Now, I don't know what to do with the manager situation. I think it's obviously a major risk sacking him, and then you're putting in an interim or whatever.
It's a major risk keeping him as well.
No, that's my point. You're kind of major risk either way. But if you sack him, then you're relying on new manager, either taking the shackles off and hoping, buying a few wins there, or implementing something else, and that might take time. Even if it's a few weeks to implement, that's still a risk. You could be losing more and more games. But at the moment, Thomas Frank ain't getting the results. It just ain't happening. It's just like, whatever you want to say about maybe slightly better performances right now or whatever, or maybe there's, he's been implementing a way of playing or managers need time, all this kind of stuff. The barefaced facts of the matter is right now, in a relegation battle, the results just aren't coming. There's no real evidence that results are just around the corner right now. So that's also a major risk, just keeping him in charge and hoping he gets enough results to keep us safe. Because if the next 16 games, or whatever, how many games we've got left, 13, if the next 13 go like the last 16 have gone, which is a bigger sample size, then we very much could be going down. So I don't know. I think they will probably stick, because I think at the moment this board are absolutely scared of making any sort of decision. I think they don't want to be seen, because let's say they sack him and we go down. They're going to look. Don't get me wrong. They deserve the blame, and they're going to get all the blame. Whatever happens this season, the board are going to be in the line of fire for me anyway. But all I'm saying is, if they sack him, and we do end up going down, everyone's going to say like, You should have stuck with him. Oh, it's all your fault for sacking him and getting us relegated. If they stick with him and we go down, the blame will go on Frank, won't it? Oh, this is the guy who sent us down. But I don't know if they're looking at it like that, to be fair. But I think they're just very scared of making a decision. Right.
Like I said before, I don't think they're taking the threat seriously. Over the next 2 games,
I think now they should be.
I don't know if they are still, but I would say that over the next 2 games, if we lose the next 2 games against Newcastle and Arsenal, and West Ham pick up a minimum of 3 points, which I think they're capable of, or even if they pick up 2 points, if they pick up 2 draws against Manchester United and Bournemouth, which they're very well capable of, and then we go in after the next 2 games 4 points above the drop. I don't know. I think they're going to be forced into a change. I think they're going to panic into a change.
Should have happened after West Ham.
Yeah, 100%. That's when that should have been the game. Would be like
alarm bells are really ringing.
Like you can't lose to West Ham at home.
We were all saying before that. Obviously, we had some like easy-ish games even before that West Ham game. I think it was like Brentford and Sunderland and whatever it was. It was like some games where we thought we'd probably go on a run and we didn't. And then everyone was saying before that West Ham game, at least we're going to win this one. Like, imagine if we lost to West Ham. Yeah, as if we could lose to West Ham, right? Like, everyone was saying that. And then we actually did lose that game. And then we were like, okay, we lost that game. And then it was like, expecting him to be sacked. And then he kind of saved himself a bit against Dortmund. We somehow saved his job. And then we were like, okay, we got Burnley. At least, imagine we don't beat Burnley, right? Obviously, we're going to beat Burnley. Imagine we didn't win. And we actually didn't win that game. We drew. So those are the two results where you're like, we've had the moments, right, where we're now sitting here like saying, yeah, if we don't beat Newcastle, if we don't beat Arsenal, blah, blah, blah. But we've actually had, it's already passed those moments where you're like, can't believe we didn't win. We're surely going to pick up results or something. Those moments have been and gone. Like, now we have entered, I feel we've entered a new phase now of the season. Before it was like, yeah, imagine if that happened. Now we're actually in that imaginary scenario where we're actually in a relegation battle, and we actually did not win those games, but we couldn't even fathom we're not winnable, and we didn't win them, and now we're here.
Yeah.
So anyone thinking like about anything else other than we just need to survive this season right now, that's it. Like, you can't. I think anyone saying at this point, oh, Europe's only X amount of points away, win a couple of games, you're back up there. Anyone saying that is completely deluded at this point. This is now a battle for survival, 100%.
Absolutely. Which is a clear indication of the sorry state of affairs of this football club, the clear mismanagement of this football club, the culmination of putting plasters over plasters over plasters over gaping wounds.
Just to put in perspective quickly, in terms of that conversation, like, I even heard it. I had a panel show, not to call out Sarah because I thought Sarah had a brilliant job on the panel show.
Calling her out.
I'm not calling her out. I'm just saying, even this is before the game against United. She was saying, the table's so close. You just win a couple of games, and maybe on the face of it that could be true. Right now, just to put it in perspective, right, in terms of the gap now between us and Europe, Brentford currently in 7th, 10 points.
Yeah.
10 points. So that is just gone now. We're a double-digit point gap to 7th place, and that's Brentford, by the way, Frank's old club. So that's the gap now. So in terms of that period of the season where everything was so congested and just a couple of wins, you're back up there, and all you need is a few wins, and you're back challenging for Europe. That's gone now. That's out the window.
But the reality is, like, I never, like, obviously the table showed that we were, a couple of weeks ago we were closer to European football than we were to relegation. But I always felt like we were looking down more than up, looking over our shoulder more than looking forward, just because we showed an inability to pick up consistent results or any results.
Don't get me wrong, I completely agree with that. But all I'm saying is, as long as the table was congested, right, and maybe there was some green shoots, we played better at Burnley, Man City, we had a good second half and got a point, blah, blah, blah. All, like, as long as, like, the table's really congested and there were, like, signs of, maybe at some point we could pick up a couple of wins, you could always say, look at, I know the table's looking bad right now, but we're closer to 7th than we are 18th, and we still could get that European spot, and we still could, just a couple of wins, and we could still be there. There was maybe a logical or a theoretical justification for saying, what, as much as it looks bad, there are some green shoots in the latest performances, and maybe a couple of wins, and Europe can still be there. I'm saying that period has now gone. That's finished. It's finito. After this game and after the results that have happened this weekend, and now the gap between us and Europe, we are now in a new phase of this league season where it's gone from the first 9 games we were actually doing well results-wise, but performances weren't so great. We then drastically dropped off. Performances and results have followed, but we were still in and amongst that kind of mix of if we could get a few wins, we're in Europe. Now we're in a new phase of the season as of this week where it's relegation battle. No Europe, that's not on the table anymore. There's a 10-point gap. We're now 6 points off the relegation battle and we're 2 wins in 16. This phase of the season is now survival. That's where we are now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely spot on. I think if we did show an ability to put a run together and show some sort of form from now to the end of the season, I do think Europe could become a question again, but I just can't see that happening. I cannot see that happening.
10 points off anyone.
No, I don't see it. Obviously, I don't see it with the way we've been. I'm just saying if we were to show form.
Even well to put a run together, we're not clawing 10 points.
Yeah, because I think everyone's just so inconsistent and losing so many games and will lose so many games from now until the end of the season. I think if you put a good run together from now until the end, like a good run, and we win more games than we don't, then it's a possibility, but there's no chance we're going to do that. There's no chance.
We'd have to win 4 more games than Brentford win.
Yeah. So I don't see it being a big...
Out of 13.
Yeah, I don't see it being, impossible. It's possible.
I'm struggling to see 4 wins, let alone 4 more wins.
I know, I agree with that. I'm saying I don't think it's going to happen, and I don't think we're going to put the right amount of wins. I'm just saying if we were to go on that run.
But I'm saying, okay, let's say we go on a run, yeah? Mm-hmm. Let's say Brentford in the next 13 games win 3.
Yeah.
Okay, let's say a bad end to the season, they only win 3 of the next 13. We'd have to win 7 games in the next 13.
That's what I'm saying.
That's like impressive form.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm saying if we put impressive form in from now to the end of the season, I think we could do it, but I don't think we will. There's no chance we are going to put that form together. That's all I'm saying. I don't get me wrong. I'm not sitting here saying Europe's still on.
Let's say how many wins do you think we need to get Europe? You would think
out of 13 games.
Let's say if we were to put this theoretical run together, out of these 13 games, how many wins would we need to snatch that 7th spot?
Probably about 10.
So 10 out of 13.
Yeah.
That's title winning form.
Yeah.
That's not even like top 4.
No, I think you need better than that for title winning. To be honest.
I'm saying winning 10 out of 13.
I think it's Champions League form, yeah.
That's not Champions League form. That's title winning form. Champions League form is like winning half and drawing a few and then losing a few.
Yeah, well, look, I'm not saying it's possible. I'm just saying if we were to do that run.
When I think about putting a run together, I think just like maybe Champions League kind of form, 2 points a game kind of thing. Mm-hmm. That's kind of for us putting a run together right now. Like, to think we would win 10 out of the next 13.
You're getting this completely wrong. I'm not thinking that we're going to do that.
But I'm saying, but you're saying if we were to do that, that's like a bit like saying if we won every single game, we would get in Europe. Okay, fine, but we're not going to do that. We're not going to win 10 of the next 13. Like, in terms of a realistic total we could get to maybe snatch that European spot. So 10 wins, that'll give us 30 points. That'll put us on 59.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that should be enough for 7th, I would say, if we go on 59 points.
But anyway, it's not going to happen, and we're looking firmly over our shoulders, and it's sickening. It's absolutely sickening, the state of this football club and where we're at right now and how far we've actually fallen in the last 5 years. It's just absolutely sickening, and I can't believe we're sitting here genuinely talking about the threat of relegation, and look, there'll still be some fans watching this being like, oh, you guys are just jokers. There is no chance we're going to get relegated. There's no chance we're in the mix for that. Well, you just look at the table, you just look at the fixtures that we got, and you just look at our last 20 fixtures and who's picked up more points than us in the Premier League in the last 20 games. And that will give you your answer of where we're at.
And as much as, I like Dange, we did finish 17th last season on top of that. So, that is just true. And look at the form we're in now. As I say, you change the name of the club right now, and anyone would be saying that team is in a relegation battle. That's the truth.
We're banging it.
There's
no two ways about it. We're banging it. We're banging it. And it's sickening.
The conversation at the away end on the way back yesterday was just about What's going to be a category A next season when we're in the Championship?
I don't think they're not. Surely they're not as shameless to put Category A games in the Championship.
You know, when all the discussion was, we were like, "Do you reckon they'll put the season ticket prices up because there's going to be more games?" Oh god, that was the conversation.
Genuinely though, if we were to go down, what do you think they do with the ticket prices?
You have to slash them, surely.
Slash them to what?
I don't know.
Let's say our season ticket now is £1,200. Like, what do you reckon it is in the Championship?
You know, maybe £1,000, maybe? No, I don't know.
Only a £200 discount?
Probably. Because there is still more games. There's 4 more games, isn't there?
If it is only a £200 discount, I swear, that would be ridiculous. Like, what are season ticket prices in the Championship? Let's have a look.
These are the conversations we're having. What are season ticket prices in the Championship?
Here we go. So Middlesbrough, I think, have the most expensive, and that's £620.
They're the most expensive.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe 900 for us. We're gonna be the most expensive.
£700 is the max it should be. Let's be honest. £750 for a. Come on, the amount of grovelling that this club need to do if we actually get relegated. Like, they should be giving tickets away for free.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, to get relegated the season after winning the Europa League. Like, oh my God. They should be giving away free tickets, mate. Like, seriously. Like, the stadiums are going to be empty. They can't even fill out the ground now in the Premier League and the Champions League. How are they going to fill it out in the Championship? They're going to need to give out free tickets.
They should. They should give everyone a free season ticket next season.
Yeah.
And pay it off with some more Beyonce concerts.
Jesus. Beyonce will be embarrassed to play at Tottenham.
She's like, what? Championship? I ain't stepping foot in that.
You know
Beneath me.
We'll have to, you know, once we get relegated, they're not going to get Beyonce. They're not going to get the Red Hot Chili Peppers. They're not going to get Rolling Stones. They're going to get all the imitation bands. They're going to get all the knockoffs, like the Rolling, whatever they're called, like the tribute bands. That's who's going to play at the Tottenham Stadium.
Another consequence as well of this is the fact that obviously somehow, incredibly, we are still in the Champions League. So the problem now we have is, come when those games come around, because of the shit we're in, we kind of have to prioritise the Premier League games, won't we?
Yeah, I guess.
Depending if we can get a few wins between now and when the round of 16 comes around.
Look, we just need 3 more wins, people. Can we please just get 3 wins?
But we can't do what we did last season, which was purposefully just play a second string team in the Prem, so we can just go all out.
Are we going to have enough players to be able to do that?
I think come April, if we're still in the Champions League, we would. But
we need to get through the March fixture first.
Have to get through the March ones first, yeah. But we can't. I'm saying last season we were just like, look, we're safe. Let's just go all out for Europa, because that's where our season really is. Now we're not safe, so we can't. I don't know if we can afford to do it like we did.
I don't. Well, let's hope we have options. If we go into a game with the same amount of players that we had yesterday, and by the way, the next game is less players than we had yesterday. Like, we're gonna have a bench full of kids anyway. Like, what are we supposed to do?
Don't know. Get the kids involved.
You know what I mean? Just like the sheer lunacy of not bringing in enough players in January is just crazy.
We just rolled the dice, didn't we? That's what we did. We rolled the dice. As Van said last January, we were playing with fire by not bringing anyone in.
And this is worse than it was last year. You know, I said yesterday,
we brought a couple in last year.
Like yesterday, up until yesterday, I felt like the injury crisis was always worse last year, because at least this year we've had at least like one player in each position where we've been able to play them. We've had Romero and Van der Ven. But now, from this point, looking forward, it seems to be getting back into that territory of the injury. I know numerically we've got probably similar amount of players out over the last couple of weeks than we've had under Ange, but in terms of where we had the injuries and the personnel that was out, it was worse last year.
Yeah.
Now it's starting to get back to those territories.
Yeah, 100%, because we got only one fit proper centre-back and another centre-back who's the other centre-back's fit, who's fit, just came back from an ACL. We've got no fit full-backs, first choice. We've got no real first choice wingers available. So we have serious problems. Obviously, last season it was crazy as well, but I think right now, this very moment, it's probably worse than last year. But I think we were dealing with this from like December up until like February last year, like in that period. I think now we've had the injury's bad, but it's only got like as bad as last year, probably in the last few weeks.
Yeah, and that's why I don't give Frank too much grace over the injury period, because it was shocking, absolutely shocking before the injuries came in.
Yeah, Chelsea, we had a pretty much full team out, didn't we?
Yeah.
And that was one of the worst.
We went to
games.
the Emirates with like a full team.
Yeah, that
got
was
absolutely dicked
terrible.
on 4-1.
Wolves, we probably had a full team out for Wolves at home. We lost that. We drew that game. Should have lost. So we were already playing awfully before the injuries, but it's just compounded now.
Yeah. So there you have it. The threat of relegation is serious. It really is serious. We're in dire straits. We need points quickly. And now, you've been going on about all season, you want to see performances over points. It's got to be no matter. Like that's
now.
Gone now. That's gone.
Survival.
We just need points on the board. Doesn't matter how they come. Just get points on the board.